Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Buenas tardes. My name is Carlos Ambolia, and I am the chair of the board, the president of the board of the Latino Economic Development Center, LEDC. Thank you. Yeah, we're very excited to welcome you today. On behalf of the board and on behalf of the team here at LEDC, we would like to welcome you to this fantastic site. Thank you for joining us at this important moment when we celebrate the groundbreaking of LEDC's Plaza del Sol project at the heart of Payne Avenue. This is a wonderful project. This is a very important project for St. Paul, for our state, and also for the Latino entrepreneur community that LEDC supports. So we couldn't be happier to be here to start this process. Every project needs a champion, right? And then among us, we have some of the people, and many of you, who have helped us bring this project to fruition. We will hear from you guys, we will hear from many of you about how this process came about. And then after that, we will move to that way for the groundbreak. What I can tell you is the board and LEC, we're very excited to get this process started. This is going to be a building that is going to bring many Latino entrepreneurs together, and then we're going to be able to incubate many of our businesses in this area, which is very important for the Latino community. So thank you for all of your support. As I was mentioning, champions, right? We're very fortunate to have Senator Vervaeten and Representative Hollins as the authors of our legislative request. And we have Representative Hollins with us today to offer some remarks. So please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
Wow, this is a huge crowd. Sorry, I was in the front. I didn't get to see everybody. I'm so honored to be here today. Welcome to my neighborhood. Welcome to my district. I live literally right up the road. So this project is very near and dear to my heart. I have been to this location many times. I've eaten the amazing tamales that were made in the front. I have toured the building, and when Ms. Izzy Rojas asked me to be the lead on this bill for bonding, I of course said yes. Part of what drew me to the East Side when I moved here was the diversity. I was born and raised in Hawaii, which is a true melting pot of all different cultures and ethnicities. And that's what I love about the east side of St. Paul. It's what I love about Payne Avenue. There's all these people coming together, and we can get, empanadas on one corner, and we can get lob on the other corner. And that is truly beautiful to me. That is a place that I want to call home. And so when this project was proposed to me, I was so excited, because thinking about incubating businesses from the Latino community and making sure that they have a place to call home here on Payne Avenue, even when they're just starting out, whatever part of their business plan they're in, that they have a place to call home on Payne Avenue is so important. So I was truly honored to be a part of this project. Honestly, the bill sold itself. I would love to take credit and say I worked super hard on it, but there's nothing to dislike about this. The only thing I did was go to the bonding chairs and I said, look, this building is amazing. This organization is amazing. The work they are doing is fantastic, and it deserves to be fully funded. So I am really excited to be here today. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm gonna pass it on to somebody who has a lot more eloquent words to say than I do. Thank you.
Bienvenidos. It's not morning yet, so no buenos dias, buenas tardes. Wow. Thank you, Representative Hollins. Thank you to our great state elected officials and our wonderful mayor. We're talking about what one Minnesota looks like. And this has been a journey of decades. And this is about continuation and supporting, not just from the city, but throughout the entire state, of what Latino economic development looks like for our education, what it looks like for our businesses, right? But the infrastructure of what community means and stands on that ground. I'm Representative Maria Isa Perez Vega, and I am a proud Latina, Boricua, and a child that grew up throughout this entire state, but in particular this wonderful city of St. Paul, that dreamt for these opportunities, for these groundbreakings, for these doors, and that looked at the blueprints of what these can be when I was my daughter's age. So when we talk about what the fruits of labor look like, we don't just talk about it being picked from the tree, but what the continuation of seeds and roots look like. And I'm very proud of the work that has continued to be happening, the future of what my doors are gonna be happening because we have this space right here, and the impact that it's not only gonna have to this east side, which, you know, I'm a West Sider and I do have East Side now, a part of our district in 65B, but we look outside of our districts. We look at part of the future of what's coming, what's been here, and the collectiveness of our history as a Latino community. So muchas gracias for everybody who put that work. There's more work to be done, but this is a championship right here. Gracias.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This really is a great crowd for a good party. My name is Melvin Carter, and I have the privilege of serving as mayor of the most incredible city on the planet. You saw the governor clapped when I said that, I'm just saying. He's a resident here, I'm just saying. We are so excited for what this space brings. I got a chance to walk through this space about a year ago, and it just became really, really clear really quickly. I'd never been inside this space before, but you know, you drive past and you see it and you go, what's that building? Oh, that's a big building. And it becomes really clear really quickly that our ability to program this building and to ensure that what goes on in this space is additive to our community socially, additive to our community economically, additive to our community in all the different ways, will have a ripple effect on the entire block. We walked through this space and oh my gosh, if you haven't taken a tour yet, don't leave here without taking a tour of this space, because you will see what the board sees. You will see what this incredible team sees. You will see what the legislature saw. You'll see what we saw, and that is some space that is really, really ripe for programming and for the livelihood that we can bring in our community. One of the things that we talk about a lot, I share with folks a lot, when you look at communities that you go, oh, I'm not sure about that neighborhood, I'm not sure about that neighborhood. What I'll tell you is, what you're pointing out is a lack of public investment. Is a historic lack of public investment. As a matter of fact, I challenged mayors across the country. I was in DC last week and I challenged a bunch of mayors across the country, and I said, if you ask your police chief where's the next place that they're worried that something bad could happen in your community, they're telling you a place that we ought to invest in your community. That's right. And so I'm excited that this stretch of land right here that you just came in when you came in the door is, I would say, probably one of the most vibrant, one of the most emergent, one of the most progressive spaces in this state. The representative said it already. I tell folks all the time, you can travel a world on a plate. You can travel the world on a plate. Well, I'll tell you, you can probably travel the world on a plate on this block. And so the opportunity for us to take what was once an empty building and fill it with businesses is amazing. The opportunity for us to take this space and say, you know what, it's not just gonna be my business, it's gonna be community businesses, to create a multiplier effect forever, is really incredible. The opportunity to emerge this economic vision for this community is incredible, but I'll tell you one of the things that makes me most excited, I believe in Minnesota, I believe in St. Paul, that one of our greatest assets, we say it all the time, is the incredible richness of diversity, of multilingualism, of internationality, of multiculturalism, of multi-ethnicities that exists in this space. And every time we spend our time, and this is part of our vision in St. Paul, every time we sit there and talk about how hard it is to teach English as a second language, how hard it is to close the gaps, how hard it is to eliminate disparities, we're missing out on an opportunity to say how easy it is to create a place like this that can be a beacon for the whole world because of our diversity. So I appreciate all of you being here. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit excited. I hear we're gonna get to swing some sledgehammers, so that's even better. And I will tell you, it's an honor to share this space as well. And I kidded with the governor a little bit, but we are joined today by the most incredible governor and the most incredible lieutenant governor on this planet. And they, from day one, have been telling us, as you mentioned, what one Minnesota means. And it means that we're all in this together. The pandemic taught us that, if we didn't know it before, that we're all in this together. And so without further ado, I'm gonna introduce my big sister and our Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Melvin Carter, my big brother. We're so grateful to be here with all of you today. There is so much hope in this room, and I hope that you can feel it. We walked in the door and were handed a jar full of seeds, the seeds of prosperity.
That's right.
And that's what all of this is about. I want for a moment, as the representative was talking about how this has been years and decades in the making. It really has been. And I think a lot about the phrase, for such a time as this, right? And the planting of seeds and how they grow in this moment that we find ourselves in, these seeds that were planted long ago. But the conditions are right for this growth. Let me tell you, as a recovering legislator, that there were many conversations that would happen that felt like, even as a state legislator, I wasn't included in, and we weren't a part of. That there were resources that were available to some, but not to all. And that there were conversations about capital investment that happened behind closed doors. That all of a sudden a gigantic bonding bill would come out and we'd be like, what the heck is in that? And we're told, just vote for it. Well, times have changed. And so when the decision makers more accurately reflect the communities that they seek to represent, the voice of community becomes louder and amplified within the Capitol and within the halls of power. All the while, these seeds have been planted along the way. And all they needed was a little water, a little sunlight, a little cash, so that they could grow. And so when the governor and I worked in partnership with the legislature and said, we need equity in bonding dollars, specifically for communities of color, for organizations, you can clap for that. For organizations led by and for communities of color, for immigrant communities, for Native communities, this is exactly what we're talking about. Because when you invest in our communities, the dividends, how it multiplies, how these seeds will be planted and will grow into the future. There are businesses that will be grown out of here. There are dreams that will be realized. There are children who will see themselves reflected in the leaders doing this work, who will now be able to achieve something we never thought possible. So I just want to say, look what happens. Look what happens when we can determine for ourselves and our own communities what prosperity looks like for us. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I am so grateful that the governor and I have been able to be a part of this good work. The Latino Economic Development Center has been doing this work for a very long time. And Henry just reminded me, he was like, you said you would be here. and you're here. And I'm like, don't ever leave me out of a party or a celebration. Because there are a lot of hard things. There are a lot of hard things that we see. And as the mayor mentioned, there are a lot of gaps we talk about. There are a lot of disparities. But there is another story. That's right. There is a story of beauty and resilience and prosperity and dreams realized. And this community, this building, this space is testament to that. So thank you to everybody for all of the work that you did to get us here. And thank you in advance for all the seeds that have been planted that will now grow for future generations. What a gift you have given us. Thank you so much. And sometimes in my job, I just ask permission. Or I say, like, is this a good idea? Should we do it? Should we go for it? And the governor's like, let's do it. And I appreciate that about him very much, because this is something that we've talked about for a long time. How do we make sure that access to capital, how do we make sure that access to opportunity is felt across communities? Because we know that when our communities do well, the entire state of Minnesota thrives. And someone who has taught me that and shown me that over and over and over again is our governor, Tim Walz.
Yeah. Well, it's great to see each and every one of you here. And representatives, thank you. Thank you for your passion, your work, your optimism about the future. Representative Hollins, I think of you, there can't be anybody more optimistic. You moved from Hawaii to Minnesota in the winter. So well done. And there's something those two states have in common. They're usually ranked 1 and 2 in happiness when they poll people. It's true. So you brought your passion from the islands to here. Mayor, my mayor, not only is he the best dressed mayor, he's the best mayor. So I appreciate that. So glad to have you here. Well, this is a celebration, and it is appropriate. When Willa handed us those seeds, that's what you think about. This is planting the seeds for future generations. This is the idea of people in this room. We've seen this over this last year. People who strived on issues of equity, of inclusion, of prosperity, of generational wealth. These fights are decades long in some cases. My God, we fought 20 years to get people a damn driver's license. Those things. I mean, a pretty simple thing. Your prosperity. But there's people here who said, we're not going anywhere. We're here, we're not going anywhere, and let's get moving. We left an event this morning where we partnered across the board, from corporate America to nonprofits to Second Harvest Heartland to what the state did around this, that Minnesota has made a decision that we are going to do all we can to eliminate hunger amongst our people, especially amongst our children, and we're going to do it together. A massive input. Housing, all of those things. But I think the biggest thing, Lieutenant Governor is right on this, and so many people working on this, but there's equity and bonding. Being there in the moment, and she's right, these decisions have to be made. Democracy it's sausage making. You don't really want to know sometimes. But we knew there were decisions being made behind closed doors that continued year after year to keep communities out of the decision making. And it was about a 1:30 or 2 a.m. I did not do well after midnight. I'm pretty cranky and pretty salty with these folks. And they were going to run out the clock, is what I think they thought, and it was going to be business as usual. And I heard the Lieutenant Governor turn, and she said, hell no. And then she took her earrings out, and I knew we were in trouble. I knew we were in trouble. I said, take her to the table on negotiations or any bar fight you're in, because you're going to be in a good spot. But the thing was, she said, no, if it doesn't stop now, when is it going to stop? If we don't make these capital investments, because look, we all know this, there's moving it. Look, we give you money for this, we do whatever. The days of old white guys being the gatekeepers for the money of community have to end. Those have to end. The reason is this organization, this community knows what works. They know how to best get that capital to folks. They know how to best seed that. They know how to best provide the support. This is where we have to see ourselves as partners in this, with lead organizations leaning forward to make the difference. When that's happened, we've seen incredible results. We've seen incredible opportunities, and this issue of generational wealth has got to be a top priority. Whether it's home ownership, whether it's business ownership, whether it's the capacity to be able to make sure those children are in charge of their own destiny. Those are the things that this organization in this space is going to do. Space is critical. I'm a geography teacher. It matters. It matters where you're at. Space matters. Organization matters. But the heart of all that is the people. And in Minnesota, I could not agree more with the mayor. The vibrancy of this state, the economic well-being of this state, the decency of this state and our legacy is predicated on making sure everyone is part of this state. Everyone is welcome and everybody is part of One Minnesota. It's not a slogan. It's an aspirational goal that we're not just going to throw out there. We're going to start measuring that success. So I thank all of you for the things that you're doing. I thank this organization for making this happen. This is an exciting time, and I couldn't agree more. Our children need to experience moments like this. They need to see people coming together to make it happen because this is their legacy. So congratulations to all of you. Henry, thank you for all you've done. This organization, time and time again, we're in great businesses in St. Cloud. We're out on farms. We're everywhere to make sure that this community and so many others are heard, seen, valued, and just part of Minnesota. So thank you all.
Governor, imagine what we could do with a couple $1 million more, man, just so you know. Muy buenas tardes. Muchas gracias a todos. I am so happy to have you here today. I'm Henry Jimenez, the Executive Director of the Latino Economic Development Center. Muchas gracias, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Mayor, our lead author, Senator Payne, and Representative Hollins, and all other legislators here and not here today. Representative Vega, Perez, thank you so much. Perez, Vega.
They both work.
Yeah.
They're amazing parents.
I got them mixed up, but I got the pronunciation correctly. How about that? So, yeah. But I know you're always there for me, so I always wanted to make sure that you're here. And even if I didn't ask you, you've always been here for our community. So thank you for being here. I want to thank all of you because without the funding, this would just be a dream. You know, we all have dreams, but without money, that's all it is. And it's finally become a reality because of what you just heard. The last couple of sessions have been investments in our community to build generational wealth. Several dozen other BIPOC-led organizations are doing exactly that too. I am proud that there's a dozen other ones getting ready to, break ground and do the same thing too. But I'm going to tell you right now, this was not easy to get to this point, and I can tell you that many of our brothers and sisters out there too need the additional support to get to the finish line. And I commit myself and LEDC to support them, and I hope that our legislators, if there's another ask of them, we need to make sure that those projects get to the finish line. It is amazing to finally be here today. This journey started 20 years ago when LEDC was created. It's our 20-year anniversary. We should clap about that. In 2020, when we had too many difficult decisions to make, including acquiring this building to save several Latino businesses and begin to invest in this neighborhood and begin to invest in the east side of St. Paul, was at our top priority for LEDC. I'm glad that we did that, by the way, because I want to take this time to thank the LEDC board. If any of you are here, please stand. Carlos, Ambar, Carlos. For letting me dream and move forward with asset-minded strategy. And while it took us years, we are finally here. I'm also glad that you guys didn't fire me along the way. No, I'm serious. It was like, this was not easy, folks. I'm also glad that their mandate to me from them was to deliver the highest quality community asset to our people. And that is exactly what we're going to do here. And that's why it took me a little longer, folks, because things are expensive. I want to thank my team. So anybody that's part of the LEDC team, please raise your hand. For joining, for contributing and supporting this joint dream of ours. It's a dream of ours. It's not just Henry. Thank you for being part of the 100+ tours that we gave to funders, stakeholders, and elected officials. I'm kind of hoping I don't have to do too many tours today, folks. It's a lot. I want to thank my wife, Jenny. Can you stand? Lucia, mija, and Javier, mijo, stand up. Stand up. Oh, you. You know, I want to thank you because for giving up so much of your time, for us to be able to give so much of our time to community. A lot of sacrifice, folks, that they have done for me. So I really love you. Thank you for that. Rosa Jimenez, want to stand? Stand. Párese, por favor, ma. Párese. Hey, Mom, la quiero mucho. Manténgase parada, por favor. My mother is the person that has made me, the person that has shown me to lead and love with compassion, to treat everyone the way I would want to be treated. And now, the way I want everyone to be treated is the way I want my mother to be treated. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, the first 40 years of how she's been treated is no way for anybody, any immigrant to be ever treated. So thank you, Mom, por todo lo que ha hecho por mí. La quiero mucho, Mom. But that experience is what really made me, folks. And every time I think about how I want people to be treated when they're in this place, it's exactly what I want my mother to feel. The way that she feels, how she makes me feel, I want people to feel that way. That smell of her food, it's gonna smell like her food in different cultures in this place. Yeah. In this place, it's gonna smell like our parents' house. The music that I grew up with, that's what we're gonna be hearing here. And guess what? There's gonna be some music that I've never heard before. And I'm excited to learn from others in this community. I want people to feel that my mother, like any other mothers, could bring their children here and not feel like they have to buy a single thing. That they can sit here and just listen to music and enjoy time with their family. And if they could buy that one drink like my mother did when we were kids, having a break, one drink with water, just so that we can have some taste of something. I don't want parents to feel like they have to do that. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna figure out how every single person that comes in here feels like they belong in here. Everything that she has given is to build generational wealth for me. Now our kids, there's a couple kids here. My kids and the Blancos kids. We're building generational wealth through this, not for LEDC, but everybody that's touched by LEDC. And I'll tell you how. We're standing in a place where it's an example of what's gonna make that possible. We acquired Plaza del Sol in 2020 when it was at risk of going into control of outside interests. We didn't want to see this historic building and cultural center in the heart of the neighborhood sold to someone outside of this community. We wanted to protect the Latino-owned businesses in the building, but most importantly, we wanted to live our values of building generational wealth. And that's exactly what we plan to do with this building, not just for LEDC, but for all within it. As you can see through the renderings, and I hope you've had a chance, the first floor will house about 5 or 6 restaurants and vendors. The back space over here, can't even tell that that's anything. But you know, when I first walked over there, I saw it. I saw it, man. Every immigrant sees something where people don't see anything. Yeah. I saw it. It's gonna be the commercial kitchen where dozens of food businesses will be able to operate from 24/7. Maria Isa, I know you know this, but we got our people here working from their houses selling food because that's the only way that they can make it. We want to help them make the food here, and we'll figure out the rest later, but have them come here and sell their food and become vendors to the state, Governor. On the second floor, we will have an event center with a capacity of 350 people. The event center will be able to support cultural events like weddings, quinceañeras, bautismos. If you don't know what that means, look it up, folks. As well as community and other nonprofit events for our partner organizations. You know who our partner organizations are? Every single organization is a partner organization. I want them to have their annual meetings and everything. If they can pay for it, that's how we're going to pay the bills. If they can't, we're going to figure it out. We will figure it out. Preferred food vendors for that event center. Who do you think will be those preferred food vendors? It will be the folks that are working from right there. It's going to be the folks that are here. And it's also going to be the folks on Payne Avenue. You ever heard of a preferred vendor? Is everybody in our neighborhood is your preferred vendor? I hope, you know, someone's going to bring up like, hey, can I bring this person from Burnsville? No. Well, we can figure that one out too. The back part of the second floor will accommodate the office spaces, most of which will become the future home of LEDC and other community serving agencies. I think after 20 years of serving our community, I think LEDC deserves a new space to call home.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Andres, where's Andres? Andres in the back. When I first met Andres in our building in Minneapolis, he was picking up all kinds of stuff that was outside, left behind, mice, everything. Building falling apart, roof leaking. Our Latino Economic Development Center, that's where we were at, and that's not below any of us. But man, is it time for us to have a brand new building? It is time. Now the question everybody's been asking me, when will this be completed? Mayor, we just got that demolition permit, man. I almost called you, man. It took some time, but I know that we're working. And so in a couple of weeks, you'll see this being, all the inside will be just demolished and taken. But hopefully in the spring of 2025, we get to have all of you back and have a real party where most of the folks here will be community celebrating.
Yes, sir.
I look forward to having strategic conversations with most of you in the near future. You know, we're not at the finish line until we open that door. I mean, we need to get to the finish line, and we need to help others to the finish line. So with that continued, we will provide affordable long-term commercial space to our community and continue to support the Latino businesses, build generational wealth. We hope you all decide to stay and take a quick tour of the building following the picture of us with a hard hat taking down the wall. I hope none of you get hurt because that wouldn't be a good picture, folks. So just let's keep supporting the growth of our community, celebrating our culture, and building generational wealth. Muchas gracias y arre.
Come on, Gov.